When you leave a cult, it is so easy to spot another cult. It's pretty much immediate. If you know what signs are there, you can spot them right away in other groups. When I spoke to a MAGA acquaintance the other day, I saw in his responses a striking similarity to the responses I got from family and friends when I left Jehovah's Witnesses. So these signs, there's probably 4 or 5 that I can spot in a cult. Number one is they swear up and down that they're not in a cult. Because, frankly, most people who are in cults don't know they are in one, or they just don't believe it. I didn't believe it when I was a Jehovah's Witness. I did not believe I was in a cult. So when I told this maggot, that he's in a cult, he said, there's no cult here. I just love America. Okay. The second thing is that because they don't believe in a cult, they blindly trust and follow their leaders. So they don't believe that their leaders can do wrong. They genuinely don't. Now, if someone in a cult is willing to have a conversation about the negatives that you see in reality, if you bring up valid points, they always have a response for something. They always have an answer to everything, and there's always an excuse. And it goes back to them them believing that their leaders can never do wrong, ever. Jehovah's Witnesses are the same way. Even if you bring up cases of rampant child sexual assault, they always have an answer. Well, Jehovah will handle it. Will he? Because he hasn't. There's a track record. Then, if you don't agree with them and you don't think like them, they always think there's some kind of invisible secret entity behind it, whether it's the deep state or the devil. They always think there's some kind of connection from people, the outsiders, to some invisible entity that's pulling the strings behind the scenes. In reality, they're not living in real life. They're not living in reality. They're not seeing what you're seeing in the everyday. And they think that you're dangerous, and they don't see themselves. It's scary. Cults are scary. And people in cults don't allow themselves to think critically. They really don't. Also, when I would bring up something that was a negative to this MAGA person, they would change the topic. I think when I would talk to my loved ones about the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, I don't remember them always changing the topic, but they would place blame. Instead of acknowledging the bad that is coming out of this religion, they would say, you just want to live as a sinner. You just want to be bisexual. I don't want to be. I am. I can't change that. And I don't want to. They would place blame. They would change the focus. I am not doing anything to children. I'm not causing people to commit suicide. I'm not spreading lies, controlling people's time, energy, and money. I'm just living my life, and I'm not believing in lies. And I'm not controlled by the devil. It's the same thing with not voting for Trump. I have no connection to the deep state. I don't even know what that is. I'm also not a Democrat, not a not a liberal. I'm just a person with common sense. Actual common sense, not Trump common sense. Actual common sense and intellect. I know that I'm smarter than a lot of these people who voted for this man. I can tell just from the way they spell the only language they speak. You're in a cult. This is a cult. MAGA's a cult. Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult. Maybe one is worse than the other because they have a track record of violence and racism. But Jehovah's Witnesses also have a track record of protecting pedophiles. So, cults are bad in general, as a whole. Yeah. So when you leave a cult, it's so easy to spot what a cult is. Ugh. And at the end of the day, what you need to realize with cult members is that you cannot reason with them. You cannot wake them up to the fact that they are in a dangerous cult. They have to wake themselves up. And if they don't, and they're dangerous, I think the focus needs to be on staying away from them and protecting yourselves from them, rather than trying to convince them that they're in a cult. MAGA more so than JWs, because JWs, frankly, are not a danger in the same way, in the same facet, or the same manner. They're not going to attack you. But you do need to protect yourself from the control that they have. But more so MAGA. I think we need to be prepared to protect ourselves from these people.